Larissa, can you hear me? Oh, there you are.
I
Okay.
can. Hey.
Hi. Oh my gosh,
Hi.
today is a day. Um, Hi,
It's a big.
everybody.
Okay.
Let's see here. We've got Diane in the room, and we'll wait for a few others to join. Thanks, everybody, for uh, joining us today. We could all use, I think, some deep breaths on this Friday. And to get us started on what will hopefully be a restful weekend. So we'll just wait a few minutes for other folks to join. And while we're waiting, I'm going to launch a quick poll just to get a little insight. And if anyone wants to share with us where you're tuning in from, that would be great. And I guess we'll just wait a few more minutes. All right, I see Sherry, I see Diane. I'm gonna stop my video now. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. I think we're waiting for a few more people. All the way from Nebraska. Okay. Yeah, HFC and Larissa are on the East Coast. All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started. I want to be mindful of everyone's time and really grateful for Larissa being able to join us today and bring us some of her focus on mindfulness for caregivers. And we also have a special offer that we can talk about either before or after. So Larissa, whatever makes sense for you, and I will turn it over.
Great. Thank you, Alex. Hello, everyone. It's Larissa, and I'm here in southern Vermont today. It's a warm spring day, and I'm so glad to be connecting. I'm sure that life is busy where you are. It certainly is here and on the East Coast, and so much happening in the news and in my personal life and work. And so to take time out of a busy week and a busy day to slow way down and practice self-care. That's what this is all about, is to carve out time to recharge the batteries, to refill the well, to ensure that the system gets taken care of, the body, the mind, the breath. So I'm so grateful that you have joined me today. And for those who are going to be watching this later, I am hoping that this finds you safe and happy and well. So today we're going to build on what we did in the last webinar and focus on mindfulness practices for caregivers. I am a caregiver myself. I spoke a little last time about my history with my father and his battle with Alzheimer's and dementia, and the work that I'm doing now with my mother, who's 81. She doesn't have Alzheimer's or dementia, but she requires a lot of care. And so much of my time is spent supporting her. And I've learned over the years that the best way for me to support her and to support others is to ensure that I'm prioritizing my self-care, which I didn't do at first. I didn't do that well at all. But I'm doing it much better now. And I'm a teacher, of course, of yoga and mindfulness and Ayurveda. I've been teaching professionally these topics for about 15 years, but I've been teaching other topics for over 20 years. So today what I'd like to do is share with you practices that are really useful to prevent caregiver burnout, practices that are useful to settle the system down in the moment when feeling stressed, frustrated, agitated, or confused, and also practices that help to recharge and to recover from stressful days and irritating moments and depleting days. So these practices are minis or mini mindfulness practices that can be done over just a few seconds sometimes and over just a few minutes. These can be done at home. Many of them can be done while you are driving or walking. Other practices can be done when you're caregiving. So practices that you can actually do during the day when you find a few minutes that are kind of empty minutes where you might be washing the dishes or waiting for your loved one to get out of the shower or the bathroom, or when you're sitting at the doctor's office in the waiting room. So you can use those moments to practice mindfulness and support yourself in feeling at ease and feeling peaceful. These are practices that you can also do with your loved one. So while you're caregiving, you can share these practices with your loved one and with other family and friends and other caregivers, so that you can create a web or a unit, a community of self-care and mindfulness. So let's begin by doing a little bit of belly breathing and then some counting breath. And then I'll teach you a few new techniques for today. So establish a comfortable, steady seat to begin. I'm in a chair today, so you can take a chair seat and just make sure you even out the weight distribution in the feet and the hips so you have a solid foundation, and take some care to lengthen the spine. Those of you who prefer to sit down on a meditation bench or a yoga cushion, you can certainly do that, or sit on the edge of a couch. Just make sure that you are comfortable and that there's openness in the spine so the lungs can open easily in all directions. The belly is free and relaxed. Rest the hands on the lap. Pull the head back a couple of inches so it's right over the shoulders. Tuck the chin slightly so the back of the neck is nice and long and broad. This helps to release tension in the neck. Take a nice big breath in through the nose. Let that out through the mouth. Let's do that again. Big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And you can let the eyes close or let the eyes soften. Loosen up the jaw, let there be a little space between the teeth. Try to rest the tongue down at the base of the mouth. And as much as you can, relax the shoulders. Relax the shoulders and the belly. Drop the mind's attention down into the belly and begin to deepen the breath there. On each inhalation, let the belly expand like a balloon. On each exhalation, use your core strength. Squeeze the belly button back to the spine, releasing the stale air. Then inhale downward, let the belly puff and expand and stretch like a balloon. On each exhalation, draw the belly button back towards the spine, squeezing empty. Keep going like this, deep belly breaths, diaphragmatic breaths, helping to massage the internal organs. This is really excellent to help stimulate and aid digestion. Good for gas and bloating and constipation. But be gentle here, never force the breath, never force the belly. Just get good range of motion with each abdominal breath. Bringing more air into the lungs, inviting more oxygen into the bloodstream, helping to release tension and tightness down in the core. Let's take one more. And release that abdominal breath, keeping the spine long, the eyes soft or closed. Just scan the belly and feel the effects of that breath. Notice if anything has already loosened or softened or settled. Maybe the belly feels more stirred up. That's possible too. And we'll move into the counting breath. We'll inhale to the count of 4 and exhale to the count of 4. I'll set the rhythm to start and then invite you to adjust the pace. You can slow it down or speed it up. Just keep it even and rhythmic and comfortable. Try to do the breath all through the nose if you can. And if you want to do this with belly breathing, you're welcome to do that too. So sitting nice and tall, inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. And here we go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, keep counting to your own beat. Let it be comfortable and smooth. Feel for the refreshing nature of each inhalation. Feel for the soothing nature of each exhalation. Let these next few rounds be a little more gentle, a little more soft. And when you come to your next inhalation, when you return to your next inhalation, let the natural breath return. Release the count. And keeping long spine and the eyes soft or closed, scan and feel the imprint of the counting breath. Just notice if that has supported you in feeling more present. And if it would feel good, another big breath in through the nose and out easily through the mouth. And you can let the eyes gradually flutter open. So those two techniques, the abdominal breath and the counting breath, are incredibly useful. Really, really wonderful to use any time of day to help you drop back into the present moment, to recollect your thoughts, to feel more at ease, to reduce stress, to prevent the mind from spinning and racing. These practices help establish rhythm. Rhythm for the mind, rhythm for the breath, excuse me, rhythm for the nerves. And when feeling out of control, feeling spun or scattered, the main thing that we need is rhythm. And as caregivers, so often there's a lack of rhythm, lack of routine, even though we might try our best to keep a routine. That's often the first thing to go in caregiving, especially when there are crises and unexpected events and endless needs. And so you can keep your system at ease. You can support lasting wellness and sustained harmony in the mind and peace in the mind by maintaining these regular mini practices that establish rhythm. So another technique like this is a hands-free breathing technique that invites a visualization, a movement of the breath through the body. And so this is known as the alternate nostril breath. Some of you who have practiced yoga may have done this hands-on, using the hand to plug the nose and breathe from side to side. But today we'll do this hands-free so that you have a technique that you can do at any time, and you don't have to be, fiddling with the nose or embarrassed if you're in front of other people. You can do this anytime, and no one ever has to know what you're doing, and you can reestablish a sense of inner peace and balance. So this one is done by inhaling up the left side of the body and up the left nostril and up the left side of the brain, and then exhaling down the right side of the brain, the right nostril, the right side of the body, and then inhaling back up the right side like a laser beam, and switching the mind's attention and exhaling down the left side of the body. So we'll go back and forth like that, inhaling left, and it's like you use your mind's attention to kind of drudge through all the organs and muscles and bones and cells in the left side. When you get to the crown of the head, switch the attention, and then like a waterfall, let the exhalation flow down the right side of the body, just sweeping every cell clean, leaving it clear and pure. And then on the inhale, you pull the breath up the right side of the body, working the breath through every cell on that right side, kind of like little scrubby bubbles, working it through. Switch the mind's attention, and like a waterfall, like a cleansing waterfall, let the exhalation just sweep that left side clean. Okay? So don't strain, don't force. Find a pace that feels good for you. I'll lead us off to begin, and then you can adjust the rhythm, right? So establishing a nice, comfortable, steady seat, long spine, hands comfortably on the lap. Tuck the chin slightly, let the eyes close or soften. This breath is through the nose, just visualizing and imagining the breath flowing from side to side. So start down in the belly, start at the left side of the belly. And here we go. Inhale up the left side body all the way to the crown of the head. Then switch the attention and exhale down the right side body from the crown to the right side of the belly. Then inhale up the right side body, pulling the breath from the belly through the right side torso and up to the right side of the brain. Then switch the attention and exhale down the left side body, sweeping that left side clean, washing it clean. Inhale and pull the breath up the left side body. Breathe all the way to the back side body, back of the lungs, back of the heart, all the way to the crown, and then switch to exhale down the right side, purifying and clearing. Inhale and pull the breath up the right side of the body, letting the breath penetrate every cell, letting awareness penetrate every cell. And then switch and exhale down the left side body. Continue at your own rhythm. Don't try to make anything happen. Don't try to force anything. Just invite the breath to flow gracefully from side to side, nourishing, purifying, rejuvenating. Let the last round be a little more gentle, a little bit more soft. And there's no rush, but whenever you get back to the left side, the next time you exhale down the left side, release the alternate nostril breath. And take a few full body breaths to integrate. Maybe some belly breaths or full body breaths. Try to soften the muscles in the face, the jaw, the shoulders and belly. And then let go of all control of the breath. Release all control of the breath and just feel. Feel the whole body sitting still. And notice the effects of that hands-free breath. Perhaps there's a sense of tingling, vibration, or pulsation through the system. You may be more aware of different body parts right now. It's also not unusual after doing that the first time to feel a little bit lightheaded or feel a little bit dizzy or disoriented. That's totally normal the first couple of times. Let the eyes gradually flutter open if they've closed. So this is known as the hands-free alternate nostril breath, or in Sanskrit, Nadi Shodhana, the channel purifying breath. This is a classic yogic technique. It's a technique that's been used in many research studies to document the effects of yogic breathing on stress reduction. And so this is one of the most tried and true tools of the trade. It is often done with the hands, but doing it hands-free, as I've mentioned, really gives you more ability to use it anytime, anywhere. What I love about this is that it can grow to be much bigger. You can make this more like a full body scan, breathing from the feet all the way up to the crown and down, back and forth, kind of washing the body with awareness and with breath. Or you can make it much smaller, imagining the breath just simply coming up the left nostril and down the right, coming back up the right and down the left. The air will come in and out through both nostrils. It doesn't matter. What matters is the focus of the mind, the attention of the mind, and the way the awareness is being harnessed. So I'd love to open up in the chat. It's just a small group, so if you want to unmute yourself, you can, and you can ask a question too, but type into the chat or ask if there's anything about this technique that I can clarify so that it feels more supportive to you. It's a technique that can be done for 20, 30 seconds or 5 minutes. You know, I use this one a lot. I use this on the plane a lot when I fly. That's a really nice technique for me to just stay really centered in myself. Great, so Sherry is asking if it's beneficial to hold for 4 counts as well. Yeah, so in the counting breath, inhale to 4 and exhale to 4, or in this hands-free alternate nostril breath that we've just done, you can certainly add count to it, you know. So if counting is a technique that helps you feel really centered and helps to reduce the scatteredness of the mind and really get you on point. It's called in Sanskrit, eka chitta, which means one mind, one pointed focus of the mind. So counting often really supports people in feeling that focus and concentration and presence of mind. So absolutely, Sherry, you can add the count to the alternate nostril breath, and that can be really supportive. Some people find that counting is not relaxing and that counting doesn't create peacefulness and ease. And that's why I want to give you lots of different tools and approaches to the different mindfulness techniques so that you can play with counting or not counting depending on what really suits you. Now, in addition to counting up and down for 4 or adding that 4 count to the alternate nostril breath, there is also the practice of holding the breath and pausing with the breath. Now, holding the breath is a really interesting thing, and the breathing techniques are my specialties. So I really, really love the different breathing techniques, the yogic techniques of pranayama. Holding the breath is praised for establishing concentration and focus, because as soon as the breath is being held, it demands presence of mind. You know, the mind is not likely to get scattered when the breath is being held, because it's an unusual thing to be happening, and the mind wants to see what's going on and make sure that everything is okay. So that's the beauty of holding the breath. It's called a kumbhaka in Sanskrit, or kumbhak. It means a retention of the breath. So it's great for establishing presence. It's also lovely for kind of clearing the slate of the mind. Holding the breath really erases what's going on in the mind. It's a really, really nice way to reboot and reset. And we can hold the breath when the lungs are filled, so at the top of the count, or we can hold the breath when the lungs are empty, kind of at the bottom of the count or at the end of the exhalation. However, this is the thing with holding the breath. It can be dangerous. It has several contraindications and precautions. So holding the breath is never, ever advised during pregnancy. So we would never do holding of the breath during pregnancy. It's also avoided for all types of heart conditions, including tachycardia, heart murmurs, pacemaker, uncontrolled high blood pressure, COPD, cardio obstructive pulmonary disorder, heart arrhythmias, and such. So any kind of heart condition at all, breath retentions are contraindicated. So that means do not do breath retentions for a heart condition. So that's why I usually teach the counting of the breath and the different breathing techniques without any kind of breath retention, because then it's accessible to everyone. There are other contraindications for holding the breath, like emphysema. Never hold the breath during emphysema. It's also avoided for multiple sclerosis, because holding the breath is heating. The temperature of the body will heat the air in the lungs, and that air will start to expand from the heat, and that can heat up the body even more and heat up the nerves. So it's avoided for multiple sclerosis. Active coughs, respiratory infections, cold, flu, COVID-19, bronchitis, things like that, pneumonia. So, and it's also avoided for things like glaucoma and epilepsy, and it's a precaution for vertigo. So, and recent surgeries and things like that. So holding the breath is so lovely. It's really, really beneficial. I do it so often. I really, really love the technique, but it's just not safe for everyone. So it has to be done always, only when it's appropriate for the state of health of the practitioner and the practicer. And also always hold the breath without strain, without force. There should be no stress, no anxiety that's created with the holding of the breath. So the breath hold should be just short and comfortable and relaxing. So for instance, inhaling to the count of 4, holding for 4 comfortably with a relaxed face, and then exhaling to the count of 4, and maybe holding empty for 4 with a relaxed face, with calmness, without tension or gripping, and then that really works to establish a steadiness of mind. It's really, really lovely. So Sherry, if you're not working with any contraindications, then I would encourage you to play with that breath retention and see what that's like for you. Yeah, good. Any other questions about the counting breath or the alternate nostril breath? Yeah, you're welcome, Sherry. Yeah. I know there's so much to each technique, it's a lifelong exploration. And yet there are techniques that we can use immediately in the moment that produce wonderful benefits for us. So if you're all feeling at ease with that answer, then I'll teach you another breath before we move into a way of watching the breath. So first we're manipulating and controlling the breath mindfully, and then we'll follow the breath or observe the breath without controlling it. So this next technique is really lovely for summer. It's lovely for hot weather, like it is here in Vermont right now. It's about 70 something degrees, which is pretty warm here, and it's been in the 80s. And this is a breathing technique that's meant for cooling. So it helps to cool down, but it doesn't just cool down the body. It helps to cool down the mind. So it's used to physically refresh. It's used for hot flashes, for women going through menopause and experiencing hot flashes. It's used for feeling overheated, being outside in the sun, or being in a place without air conditioning. It's used for acid reflux. It's used for skin infections and irritations and hot burning eyes. It helps to cool the physical body. But it also is used to cool down hot emotions like frustration, agitation, judgment, criticism, rage. So when you're feeling those burning emotions kind of building up, kind of that pressure cooker inside, which can certainly happen when caregiving, this is a really quick and effective and incredibly safe technique for refreshing the mind and settling the emotions back down. So it's done by inhaling through the mouth and exhaling through the nose. So it'll be an inhale through the mouth, which is pretty unusual. Most of the breathing techniques are done all through the nose, but this one is done by inhaling through either a curled tongue, kind of curling the tongue like a straw, but about a third of the population, the tongue doesn't curl. So if your tongue doesn't curl, don't fret, because you can inhale through the teeth. And the teeth either slightly apart or very lightly touching together. So you'll inhale through the mouth, through the teeth or tongue, and then exhale through the nose. Now, during the exhalation through the nose, the tip of the tongue flips up and touches very lightly the roof of the mouth. So on the inhalation through the tongue or the teeth, we're cooling the tongue and the cheeks and the gums and the rest of the mouth, but we're cooling the tip of the tongue. And during the exhalation, flip the tip of the tongue lightly up to the roof of the mouth, and that directs the coolness up towards the brain, the eyes, and the sense organs. So it's a really quick way to send coolness upwards, whereas we know that heat rises. This has a special nature of sending coolness up as well. Now, the throat tends to get a little dry during this technique because we're breathing through the mouth. So if you need to swallow a little bit here and there, that's totally fine. This one has no contraindications, very, very safe. So the only thing to watch out is if you have sensitive teeth. And if you do, try to curl the tongue and do it that way instead. So sitting tall, I like to turn my palms up on the lap, turning the palms up, so that releases heat from the hands, adds a little more coolness, and kind of opening up the armpits a little bit, flaring the elbows out just a little bit, and that airs out the armpits too. And so you can close the eyes, or you can keep the eyes soft and do this along with me. So here we go. Inhale through the tongue or the teeth. And exhale through the nose. Inhale through tongue or teeth, no counting here. Exhale through the nose, tip of the tongue lightly touching the roof of the mouth. Keep going. Again, you may need to swallow. Just continue inhaling through the mouth, exhaling through the nose. Each time you exhale through the nose, lightly, very lightly tickle the tip of the tongue against the roof of the mouth. If your tongue is flexible, you can reach back a little bit towards the soft palate, and that's more sensitive. You may feel more coolness there. And this is not about lung capacity. You don't have to take the deepest breath ever. Just let it be satisfying. Just a cool, refreshing inhalation and a soothing, satisfying exhalation. Taking 3 more rounds. And when you've completed that third round, let the natural breath return. You can keep the eyes closed or soft. And just take a few moments to relax, soften everything, relax and feel. Noticing physical areas that may feel more cool, perhaps the mouth, the throat, maybe down into the lungs. And some of you may feel more coolness up in the head, maybe down into the belly, perhaps even feeling coolness out into the limbs. Taking a few moments of stillness here. Be aware of what has shifted, perhaps in the mind, the emotions. Has anything opened, expanded, cleared? Another breath in through the nose and out with an easy sigh through the mouth. And let the eyes flutter open if they've closed. Whew. Cooling technique is nice for me. I tend to run on the warm side anyway, so I tend to overheat very quickly, and no matter what time of year it is. And this is a technique that's been really helpful for me physically and also absolutely emotionally. It's easy for me to feel frustrated. When I get stressed, what's interesting is when people get stressed, they tend to react in different ways. Some people freeze when they react, feel stressed. Others fight when they, or get irritated when they feel stressed, and some flee, and kind of avoid and run back or away. And my tendency is to fight and to get irritated or agitated or frustrated, overheated. And so this is a really great technique to help recollect my thoughts, to self-regulate, to self-soothe. Really, really lovely for me. So I hope it is wonderful and helpful for you as well, especially as we approach the summer season. And again, this one's really safe. So you can do it anywhere, anytime, 30 seconds, a couple of minutes. It cools the body rather quickly. So you can play with this. I like to actually do this one right into metta meditation, the loving kindness meditation that we played with last time. This is when you do that double hit, it helps to cool the body and mind. And then the metta meditation, loving kindness meditation, really helps to bring back that sense of ease and peace for self and for others, especially when feeling, emotionally heated. So Sherry is saying that helped a lot. And it's hot in Northern California. Yeah, I bet. Good, I'm glad. Any questions about that one? Okay, good. So what I'd like to do is, let's actually do a round of metta, and then we'll move into some meditation on the breath to close up today. So metta meditation, or loving kindness meditation, is a practice of sending kind or friendly words. Metta more literally means boundless friendliness. So it's about sending kind or friendly words to self and to others. And we'll just do a round or two of this. So establish a nice comfortable seat, palms up or down. Just like in the cooling breath, I like to have palms kind of turned up and resting on my lap for this one. That helps me feel more open, receptive, and giving. Take some care to readjust the spine. Pull the head back a couple of inches, especially if you tend to get tight or tender in the back of the neck and the shoulders. Often the head is poking forward, so just realign, pull the head back, tuck the chin, soften the gaze, loosen up the jaw. Relax the heart space and the belly. And bring into the mind's eye the image of self, the image of yourself, This can be the image of yourself right now in the moment, or the image of yourself from any moment in your life. I'll say a line of metta, and you're encouraged to or invited to repeat that line, either silently or aloud, directing those kind words to yourself. May I be healthy. May I be safe and protected. May I feel peaceful. And again to self, may I be healthy. May I be safe and protected. May I feel peaceful. And start to deepen the breath, absorbing those kind words to self, recharging your batteries, refilling your well. And bring into the mind's awareness now the image of a friend or a loved one. This can be a human or an animal. Whoever pops into your mind's eye first, that's the right one. Let that being's image grow clear in the mind. And sending these kind words outward. May you be healthy. May you be safe and protected. May you feel peaceful. May you be healthy. May you be safe and protected. May you feel peaceful. And let the breath deepen, sending those kind words towards this friend or loved one. And for the final round, invite into the mind's eye the image of someone who is suffering. And this can be someone you know. This could be an acquaintance or a stranger, a political figure or a public figure. It could be a human or an animal. Choose one being you know to be suffering, and sending kindness their way. May you be healthy. May you be safe and protected. May you feel peaceful. May you be healthy. May you be safe and protected. May you feel peaceful. And as the breath deepens, send those kind thoughts outward. And draw in a nice big breath, let that out with an easy sigh. And letting go of images and words. Just scan the body, scan the whole body. Feel the entire body sitting down. And just notice, be aware of the body's temperature and the sensations that are present in the body. Notice the state of the mind. And you might offer yourself some gratitude. What are you grateful for today? What do you appreciate? What do you appreciate about yourself? What in life are you grateful for? And let the mind's attention now drift to the tip of the nose, preparing for a short meditation on the breath. If you're feeling a little antsy or if there's any discomfort in the body, feel free to adjust your seat a little, uncross and recross the legs, or shift just a little bit, change the hand position, or give yourself a little wiggle or stretch. And then resettle with a long spine, with a comfortable alignment for the head and neck. The chin slightly tucked, the eyes soft or closed. And bring the awareness to the tip of the nose. Without changing the breath, without controlling the breath, just begin to observe the breath. Observe the temperature of the breath at the tip of the nose. Is the temperature different on the inhalation and the exhalation? Notice where you feel the natural breath the most. Maybe the bridge of the nose, maybe the nostrils, perhaps feeling the breath mostly on the upper lip. And begin to follow the breath. Follow the sensations that come with the breath at the tip of the nose. If you find the mind wandering, just give the mind permission to take a break from thinking. Refocus the mind's attention on the breath, the natural, uncontrolled, present moment breath. Follow the breath at the tip of the nose. Try to maintain presence of mind, following the breath for the next 3 complete breath cycles. Stay with the breath for 3 more cycles. And gently start to deepen the breath, releasing that meditative focus. And just notice how that felt. Or feel the afterglow, feel the residue of that practice. You can let the eyes flutter open if they've closed. So the metta meditation is more active, more of an active meditation, repeating phrases and having visualization, going through categories, using words. And so that's a beautiful practice to do when the mind is feeling scattered, really helpful for staying in the present moment. The meditation on the breath, simply following the breath, is more of a passive technique. There's no control of the breath, nothing is happening, nothing is being done. It's a practice of being, a practice of observing and witnessing. And as I'm sure you experience, the mind will go in all sorts of directions, to the past, to the future, to sensations, to lists, all sorts of things, daydreaming. And the practice is to just bring the mind's attention back to the breath over and over again. The mind will wander, so don't give yourself a hard time about it. Just notice when the mind has wandered and bring it back to the breath. And that's the start of that practice. And so we may talk about that again in the future. As we, yeah, you're welcome, Sherry. Yeah. As we get ready to wrap up, I do want to bring to your attention the course that the Hilarity for Charity is offering up to you. And this is just such a beautiful gift to you from this organization. They are donating to you my 10-day Mindfulness for Caregivers course. It's an audio course. It's less than 15 minutes a day, and it takes you through several mini meditations and mindfulness practices that you can do alone or with your loved ones while caregiving, before caregiving, during caregiving, and after caregiving, practices that can be done anytime, anywhere, to support you in feeling overall wellness and peace of mind, steadiness, helping to support good sleep, support healthy digestion, support balanced mood, helping to reduce stress and feel better. So to get this course, you can reach out to Alex. It's the information is all listed in the newsletter, but we've also put on the link right here on this chat. So if you go to my website, larissacarlson.com, to my online courses, you'll find the link to the Mindfulness for Caregivers course. You can put that in your cart and just type in the promo code HFC2020, and that will give it to you for free. And HSC is covering the cost of that for you. So you'll be able to download it right there and use it anytime. So it's filled with both theory and guided practice to support you ongoingly. So thank you, Alex, for putting that up. The info is right there. Yeah. So we're keeping that link and the promo code active through next week, through June 5th. So if you're interested in getting it, please click on the link, use the promo code, and get it right away. Okay. So if you ever have any questions, if you want additional resources for yoga, mindfulness, Ayurveda, self-care, anything like that, just send me an email at larissa@larissacarlson.com, and I'm happy to point you in a direction that would support you in feeling more at ease, feeling overall well-being. Thank you so much for joining us today. I wish you the best. These are really, really important times to be prioritizing self-care. So may these techniques support you, your loved ones, your community members, your coworkers, and family members. Thank you all so much for joining today, and stay well.